Good morning, Karie. Before we get into our interview, why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a little bit about your background prior to becoming a business coach?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Dr. Tony. Thanks for having me here. My name is Karie Kaufmann. I own ActionCOACH Business Coaching here in San Diego, California. And prior to becoming an action coach, to back up from that, I've been an action coach for 7 years, a business coach for almost 11 years now. And the way I kind of fell into this really is that started off by growing up in a family business. So if you've ever, known anybody or yourself growing up in a family business, you might know how that goes. At least in my family, it meant I started working at a very young age. I'm part of my dad's business. I was actually on payroll by age 14. And I worked for my dad for a lot of years. I got a lot of great experience. And he was a successful guy, but he was a typical one of the kinds of businesses that I now coach. In fact, my dad actually ended up being a client of mine for 3 years, which was kind of an interesting turn of events. But I got a lot of great real world experience to know what it's like to run a successful business, but work your tail off doing it.
Karie, what kind of business was it, the family business?
We own real estate offices.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I thought I was too big for the family business. I wanted to move on into corporate America. So I did. I worked in high-tech world and corporate marketing. I got my MBA degree, and I pursued that track for a while. And that's actually kind of how I wound up moving to San Diego. And it was a buddy of mine who was an engineer that I worked with in the office. And he walks into my office one day and he goes, "I know somebody that does something that I think you'd be really good at." And he introduced me to a business coach. And that was in 2004. I didn't even know what business coaching was at the time. So I took a few months to kind of research, and I met his friend, and it really clicked with me. I think because of my experience in growing up in a small business, but then also having gone on and got the education and the tools and the corporate level experience, that I felt like I had developed tools and resources to help people like my dad. So I jumped in with both feet just a couple months later, and now almost 11 years later, here I am. I've lost count, well over 500 businesses.
Wow.
A decade or so, and I love it. I'm very passionate about what I do.
Excellent. Did you have any particular major in your MBA program?
My undergraduate degree was also in business with a concentration in marketing and a minor in communications. My master's degree was general business administration.
Great. Your undergraduate degree is the same as mine. Business with a minor in the social sciences, psychology, sociology, etc. So you became a business coach, and then a few years later decided to hook up with ActionCOACH. Why ActionCOACH?
Well, again, one of those things I couldn't have planned. My husband and I had actually left the country for a while. We'd had a goal. We wanted to live in Barcelona for a year, so we did. And coming back from that is when I was kind of on this next journey of, what do I want to do next? I had already been business coaching, but I wanted to do more. I wanted something that was bigger. I wanted more challenges. I just lived in a foreign country and traveled the world and seen something new almost every day for a whole year. And when we moved back to San Diego, I really wanted to continue that growth path and that challenge path that I had been on that journey in my personal life. And around that time, my dad, of course, knew an action coach up in Northern California. And he said, "Hey, I'll just introduce you. I don't know if this is, the next thing for you, but you guys talk and do what you want to do." So again, one thing led to another. It always starts with relationships. So it took a few months to figure out what's similar and what's different to the way I had been doing things. And it was similar enough to where I knew I liked business coaching. I knew I was good at it, but it was also different enough that I knew it was going to continue to challenge me. I was going to have to grow this practice to the level that I wanted to and serve the local community in the way that I wanted to do it. So it was the best of both worlds, enough of something I already knew I liked, but also with enough new things and help people in new ways that I had not been doing before.
Are all your clients pretty much in San Diego, or I know your father became a client, and he's up in Northern California?
Yeah.
So any business outside of San Diego?
A few. Yeah. I really focus my my marketing and my relationships in San Diego County. This is really my territory. But occasionally I do get a referral to somebody else or somebody who finds me on the internet. For example, I've got a couple clients in other territories where there's no action coach nearby, and they find me online. In fact, I've got right after this meeting with you, I'm talking with somebody in Panama.
Wow.
Yeah, who found me on the internet.
And now, so how do you talk to them? Is it Skype or Zoom or what?
A variety. Anybody that even some of my local clients who maybe are at the opposite end of the county and they don't want to drive here to my training center. I'm an auditory learner. I'm perfectly comfortable on the phone. Some of my clients are the same. If they're visual or kinesthetic, then we'll use Zoom or Skype or really whatever method they're comfortable with. A majority of my clients actually drive to my office and meet here, but I'm comfortable in any environment that works for them.
Perfect. Now, what do you believe makes Action Coach so successful?
That's a great question. I guess the simple answer is that we just have the content. Action Coach is built on great systems and principles. And I've had people say to me, Karie, why Action Coach? You've been doing this already. Why do you need a franchise to do what you already do? And for me, it's a no-brainer. The resources that Action Coach provides are second to none. The training, the education, most importantly, in my opinion, is the community. On a regular basis, a weekly basis at least, I'm reaching out to coaches from around the world, or they're reaching out to me just to help each other out. And I think the coolest thing about Action Coach is that the best coaches in the world always take time to help another coach. Always answer their cell phone, return the call, return the email as quickly as possible. And I try to give the same level of support back to the community as well. Because even though I've coached several hundred businesses, I don't know everything, so I've always got something that a client's come across that I've never dealt with, or there's somebody else who has more expertise in that area, or even if it's something for my own business. So I think that's, in addition to the training, the systems and the principles and all that, the resources they provide, in my opinion, it's the community that really makes it tick.
So with this community and all the people that you've rubbed shoulders with, so to speak, what do you think are the key traits of a great, not good, but great business coach?
Well, there's two parts to that, I would say. You got to know a thing or two about business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the practical application of it, is you have to actually be able to help people. Be committed to continually learning, always staying a step or two ahead of where our clients are at. But the other part is, this is a business too. And by definition, businesses are messy. And our business happens to be working with human beings, which adds additional messiness. You can't have the competence without also having the character to match. So you've really got to have a passion for what you do. You have to be able to connect with people on a real level, to understand their challenges. So I think it's a combination of both of those things to have the education, the competence mixed with the passion and the willingness and the desire to help real people through real challenges and grow their businesses as a result.
Right. Now, so in your business, I know that there's obviously one-on-one coaching, literally just like we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. But what about group activities? Do you do workshops or seminars? And there's two parts I want to focus on here. One is for your clients, and the other is in a prospecting manner. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Right now I'm actually sitting in my training room. So I've got a training center here in Mission Valley in San Diego that holds about 30 people. And once every 4 to 6 weeks, I hold a free business building seminar right here. My clients can come to those, prospects can come, anybody can come. I also do a lot of guest speaking, mostly on a local level. So if there's a industry association or anywhere where a group of small business owners meet, once every month or two, again, I'm out somewhere else speaking. So most of those things are free for people to attend or included with their membership fees that they already pay to whatever organization they're part of. But I enjoy doing things like that. And for my clients as well, My clients can come to any of those, but additionally, once a month I hold a client-only webinar that they're all invited to in addition to our regular coaching sessions. So I have a group coaching program, and I have some people who just come to the webinars as part of their coaching program. But even if we do one-to-one coaching, they can still participate in that. So we've got a monthly topic. I call it a velocity session because it's a little bit of a content and education, but it's also equal parts implementation. So it's a time where people can come as a group and say, hey, I'm working on this. Can I get not just my feedback, but feedback from the whole group? So I'm big on community amongst my clients. So most of my clients know each other. A lot of them do business together. And one of the key ways I build that community is actually taking place this Friday. Once per quarter, I do what we call an action club, a growth club, which is a full day planning workshop once per quarter where all of our clients get together and create an action plan for the quarter. And guests can come to that as well. Guests pay a fee to come, but my clients get to come for free because it's part of their coaching membership. So it's wonderful because they walk in at least once a quarter, they see each other face to face. So they're walking in and giving each other hugs and high fives, and and the new people who come along, they all make sure they feel comfortable, and they take a lot of pride in just making sure that everybody's having a good time and everybody's getting the help that they need, and they're cool about that. They actually help. They make my coaching go a lot easier because they just jump right in and participate.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you have coached hundreds of clients over the last several years. So what do you find is your best prospecting tool? Is it the seminars or speeches or something else?
Yes, a lot of them work hand in hand. I would say that seminars and speaking engagements are a great database builder for me. Also a great conversion tool. I mean, you get a couple hours with somebody and they know when they leave if they like me and if they think I can help them. So that's fantastic. And I can't help everybody there. I don't even have time to. So if they don't want that, they just want to come learn, that's okay too. But where most of the leads begin, besides speaking engagements, would be referrals and the internet. I get a lot of inbound leads from people who find me online, whether it's through just Googling business coach and I rank really well, or they find my testimonials, or they find my YouTube videos or my business tips or something out there that kind of guides them to give us a call or shoot me an email.
Do you have any favorite strategies that you use with your clients?
For marketing and lead generation?
Well, just for coaching in general. I mean, when you get a client, how do you initially start with them? Is it pretty much always the same? Tell me a little bit about that.
My priority as a coach, I'm pretty upfront with my clients about this. My first priority is to get a return on their investment. So I'm always looking for, we got to find my fee in the business because the investment of a business coach is significant, right? But it is an investment. It's not an expense. So if we can start getting a return quickly, then they can say, okay, the coach is paid for. I don't have to worry about that. The cash flow has been improved. Now we can go to work on the things that really matter, which often take more time, like things like really developing systems, really building a business that can work without a business owner, that can work for them and not because of them. Those things take time. So if we first focus on cash flow strategies, now we've got the options. We could invest the time and invest the money to build up the team or put in the systems or create the marketing plan or, whatever it is that's going to require more time. And I don't want them to run out of money before we get there, right?
Right.
So cash flow strategies is the short answer to that. That's a little bit different for every business. But a lot of my clients, we can start with things like going back to their existing database. One of the first questions I often ask is, do you have past clients who could be doing more business with you than they are? Or even current clients who don't even know everything you offer? And the answer is always yes. And it's way faster and cheaper, more affordable to get repeat business than it is to go get new business.
Right.
So that's kind of a go-to strategy, as well as increasing prices. A lot of businesses aren't charging what they're worth, and it's not that they're not worth it. It's just that maybe they don't know how to articulate it, or they're nervous about it. So kind of coach them through the process of how to sell based on value and not based on price. that can instantaneously add to cash flow. And most of the time, if you do a price increase, that goes directly to the bottom line. They instantaneously feel that benefit. So those are a couple of the go-to strategies that can work for most any business at some level.
What type of team building activities do you do for your clients? Where you go beyond the owner to the entire team?
I love doing that kind of stuff. Some of my clients, I coach the owner, and I also coach a few of their team members, management level, maybe a sales team. And that's worked in a bunch of different ways. Some of them I coach on a one-to-one basis. I'll meet with the owner, and then I'll meet with their manager or with whomever. Other ways it's been that I'll meet with the owner regularly, and then once a month I'll come in and do a group training, or I'll have their team come into my office. Once a year or so, I'll do a seminar that's just for my clients' management, no business owners allowed. I find that they'll tell me things that they don't necessarily say to the owner. So we can make a lot of progress there. And they also feel empowered. It makes them feel good about where they work. And that they start to contribute at a higher level because they feel like they're really growing and contributing a lot. And so we do a variety of different kind of team building things like that. Occasionally I'll even come in and do a DISC training. Get all my clients, to use the DISC assessment on their teams and do a training about what that means and how they interact and have a little bit of fun with it.
Excellent.
So team trainings can take a variety of shapes and forms. It's almost never the same, which is what makes it so fun.
Yep. Let me just clarify for our viewers. You mentioned that you put them through the DISC training. Just for our viewers, DISC is a concept of 4 behavioral patterns. The D stands for dominance, the I for influence, the S for steadiness, and the C for conscientiousness. And we do typically a DISC assessment, which is an individual assessment, but can also be, you can generate a group or team assessment from that, and then show the strengths, the struggles, the communication do's and don'ts. But it's, everybody has their preferred DISC style. Mine tends to be the high D, which is dominance. What is yours?
My natural is an I with the secondary C, and my adapted is the reverse. My
C and I?
And the I gets into check a little bit.
Excellent. So when you're doing your prospecting, let's go back to prospecting. You've done a speech, you've done a workshop, whatever, where you have some people in the business community who have come to that. They're not clients yet. You've gotten to the point now where they're interested and they're talking to you. What kind of objections do they bring up?
I suppose the questions they have to answer for themselves, which we both have to answer, first of all, is, does this make financial sense? So one of the ways before most anybody takes on a coaching program, we'll sit down one-to-one. And I tell them, anybody who's serious about it, who's serious about making some changes to the business, I'm willing to contribute. I'll give you, an hour. First coaching session's on me. Through that process, we'll evaluate if it makes sense for us to work together or not. And through that process, what we've got to uncover is there enough opportunity that we're going to get the return on investment with the coaching? Do we both agree that I can help you achieve your goals faster than you otherwise would? And would we enjoy the process? Would we actually like working together? We've got to tick all 3 of those boxes. So we're on the same page with that. We have either one of us can object to any one of those qualifications. But otherwise, I think the number one thing, if we address all those things, is just, are they ready? I have met some people. In fact, there's some people that I've known for years before they become clients, and they're just not ready for whatever reason, whether it's they're nervous, or they've got other things going on in their life, or they're, just maybe a really high C on the DISC, very conscientious, slow to make decisions, very analytical. So that would probably be the other thing. You've got to be ready, because it's coaching, at least with me, it's intense, and you got to be ready to do the work. And if they're not ready for that, we're not going to get the results. So I guess it's something they've got to make sure that they're up for.
Right. And I like your answer in that objections can come both ways, because you certainly don't want to take on a client where you personally don't, even if they want to hire you as a business coach, if you do not feel that you can provide enough value to offset the cost of your services, that's a losing proposition. So it's nice that you do that. Well, listen, we're basically out of time, but let me ask you one last thing. Any final comments, ideas, pointers that might be of interest, let's say, to any kind of business that is thinking about hiring a business coach, or even for new action coaches? Any final comment?
For a business that might be considering taking on a coach?
Yes.
I guess I would say, know what you want to get out of your business and what you want your business to do for you. I always say that being in business should give you more life and not suck the life out of you. And most of the businesses I work with have been around for a while. I personally don't work with a lot of startups. So they might have been in business, whether it's 5 years or 30 years, and they're doing a lot of things right. They're not dummies, right? They're smart people. They've taken the business a long way. But sometimes they've forgotten the vision. They've forgotten the goals, the reasons why they started the business in the first place, because the goals become things like make the payroll and serve the client and get the next job. And so figure out, why am I in this? What do I want this business to do for me? And what do I want my role in it to be? And the advice that I always give my clients, I've given them all little plaques that say this, is to treat your business like your number one client. And if you do that, your business will take care of you like it's your number one client. So carve out the time to work on your business, schedule that time, and treat it with the same level of respect that you would give an appointment with your number one client, because that's truly what it is. And if they do that consistently, and if they're prepared to do that, then working with the coach will just, magnify that commitment.
Excellent. Well, Karie, thank you so much for sharing some great ideas with us. And I do believe that potential coaching clients, as well as newer coaches, will get a lot out of this interview. So thanks for taking the time with us today, and I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.